Hello, fellow parents and educators. Thank you for joining me at Education Evolution, where we are disrupting the status quo in today's learning models. We talk about present-day education, what's broken, who's fixing it, and how. I'm Dr. Maureen O'Shaughnessy, your host and founder of Education Evolution and the Microschool Coalition, where we are fiercely committed to changing the narrative, to reimagining the education landscape and creating learning that serves all children and prepares them to thrive. Hi, Leigh Anne. It is so good to have you on Education Evolution.
So nice to be here, Maureen.
Yay! And listeners, today I'm chatting with Dr. Leigh Anne Taylor Knight. She's the executive director of the DeBruce Foundation in Kansas City. I can't wait for her to share with you the DeBruce Foundation's trailblazing efforts to lead the country in creating workforce-ready youth. Leigh Anne, let's start with hearing about the work of the DeBruce Foundation and the Agile Work Profiler.
Thanks for asking, Maureen. Actually, the DeBruce Foundation is located in Kansas City, but we're a national nonprofit foundation dedicated to expanding pathways to economic growth and opportunity. And one of our most recent projects in order to help people discover their future and chart a path toward it is Draw Your Future with Agilities.
Yes. And what are Agilities?
So Agilities are actually a cross between what you're good at doing and what you like to do and how those line up with careers. That's what we call Agilities. There are actually 10 Agilities that are used in every single job in the American economy. For example, a few of them are selling and communicating, developing others, and organizing. We like to know that your top Agilities are the Agilities that you like using and you're best at doing. And there's something that you can actually grow and develop over time with the right experiences and exposure.
I love that. And my students got to do that. And it was powerful. Just to say a little, my Agilities were innovating, developing others, selling, and communicating. So I found, as somebody well into my career, that it was really fun to see what would come up if I took it. So it was really helpful, and bonus that there's no cost attached. That's very kind of you guys to offer this service free to our youth.
Yes, it's free and it's online, so anybody can access it at any point in time. It's at agilities.org or debruce.org. And you're right. The other cool thing about it, Maureen, is you may have noticed it only takes 10 minutes to do it. And at the end, you have your 10 Agilities in rank order. And then it will even allow your students or adults of any ages to actually go look at opportunities related to how those are used in careers.
And that's so important. A lot of times students are like, I'm good in math, or I'm good with my hands. They don't really have a sense of the labels and what they enjoy and what they're good at in a way that ties into the workforce. So it's really brilliant that you're giving them a different mirror, a different way to see themselves and to own it that they can then use in interviews and in job searches. So I'm impressed. I think it's wonderful. And I'm wondering if you can share a success story. Has somebody gone through this Agilities process and DeBruce work, and what does it look like when it's a success?
Absolutely. So we've done it with students in different schools as well as adults. And what it looks like when it is a success is actually for individuals to be able to say, I didn't know that about myself. And so there is an increased awareness like, oh, I have that. I'm really good at that. And somebody would pay me to do that. I didn't know that there were jobs that were related to something that I like to do and I do well. That's one of the success pieces. Another success is when someone says that it affirms what they do. So it's like, oh yeah, I knew that about myself, but now I really know this about myself. And being able to have, as you mentioned earlier, being able to have the language that is actually used out there in the career world to marry to your time when you're interviewing or when you're writing a resume, or perhaps you're going to write a career statement or a profile statement about yourself that you would want to share in relationship to a volunteer experience. And so we really see it mean something to individuals when it increases their awareness about something that they're good at doing, or it affirms that, and then it helps them tie it to language. One of our teammates likes to say, it's a way to translate what you do well and what you like to do into work activity language or career language, perfect for resumes and for selling yourself for an internship.
Love it. And help my listeners understand the DeBruce Foundation, because it's more than this tool. You're connected with the community and really aware of what employers are looking for, and you're a bridge to helping youth and young adults gain that employment, right?
Thank you for asking about that. Our mission at the DeBruce Foundation is expanding pathways to economic growth and opportunity. So yes, we are very interested in helping people discover what it is they want to do by way of what they do well and how that lines up with career opportunities. One of the things that we're doing across this summer is we're doing virtual internships with students in different opportunities and actually seeing how their agilities can be grown and how they can be developed by way of experiencing something that all of us who go to work and get paid each day, how we experience that. And like you mentioned, your agilities being innovating and developing others and selling and communicating, I'm sure that you can start to tease off like, oh yes, this is when I really had to call upon that agility to convince someone that this was a good idea to be a part of this podcast. You would have been using your selling and communicating in order to convince someone of that. And so helping some students across this summer who are doing virtual internships, sometimes with us at the foundation, but actually with a lot of partner organizations. So we're also looking for partner organizations who want to have these kinds of experiences and want to access, again, the tools that are free and that they can use with anyone, any place in the country.
Love it. And we really need the workforce helping us prepare our youth and providing these opportunities. It's such a win-win. And what's missing, I think, because I know there are companies that would welcome that, and I know there are youth that would welcome that. We're missing bridges like the DeBruce Foundation that can connect the youth with these internships, and that you're saying, hey, whatever the climate, we'll do it virtually this summer. I think that's very innovative. Good for you guys.
Well, thank you. You know, it's a condition of COVID, right? We're all finding ways that we can accelerate programs that will really make a difference to individuals at a time when, you know, there are a lot of negatives, Maureen. And this is just an opportunity where there's a real plus, you know, and even when someone is sheltering at home, it can be a great time for an individual of any age to invest in themselves, really, you know, take time to process, do a little 10-minute survey, and then tootle around even in the electronic resources. Again, all of them are for free that we have at our websites, DeBruce.org and Agilities.org, and start to think about, how do I set some goals and how do I tie this to the next things that I want to do? It's just a great time to invest in yourself and do that kind of work now.
That is a silver lining. We have the time and the space, and I'll make sure to put all of these links in the show notes so that people can easily access them. So then if you were to think bigger, Leigh Anne, ideally, how would you like to see this workforce readiness model impacting youth across the nation?
Well, we really would like to see a couple of things happen. Number one, we would like for youth and others to be more informed career decision makers, right? So having tools at their hands so that they can learn about themselves, but then being able to tie that back to the opportunities that are out there, we have an approach that we call the Agility Advantage. And in that particular approach, it is about getting to know yourself and that you can grow and develop. And then also understanding, hey, what's out there in the career marketplace, and understanding where you can get some support in developing professional skills and skills that might be specific to a particular career or opportunity. And so for us, success actually looks like an individual being able to know themselves well enough that when they have to change or select a new opportunity as far as a career goes, that they would be able to say, oh, these are the work activities I do well. And just because I was in this job, this career, this sector, does not mean I always have to stay there. I can actually transfer that into another business, another opportunity. And so we really want for people to have that agility advantage and be able to think about themselves as one who can transform and, again, make informed career decisions all the way, that's really led by what their choices are and what's available at that time. You know, for the students who, you know, are like in high school now, or I even think any of us who still plan to be working 10 to 15 years from now, you know, some estimations are that 2/3 of the jobs that are going to be available 15 years from now have not yet even been invented. So if I don't know what's out there, right? How am I supposed to get prepared? How am I supposed to go get the right degree? Or how am I supposed to go get the right credential? Or how am I supposed to get the right apprenticeship to prepare me to do something for my entire life? Well, that's probably not even possible for the majority of us. So it's really about sinking in and knowing yourself. And also, we really believe the cool thing about an agility is that you're not stuck in that. You actually can grow and develop an agility. So let's say selling and communicating, like the one that you have in your top 3, let's say it's number 7 for my son. And my son says, but what I really want to do is I want to start my own baseball academy, and I've got to convince people to come and take pitching lessons with me and hitting lessons with me. And then I would say, okay, then we've got to get you some experiences and exposure to grow your selling and communicating, because you're great at developing others, and you are going to be able to teach somebody how to throw a ball and how to pitch and how to catch and how to bat. But you're going to have to drum up your business, right? So let's go get you an experience where you're practicing that selling and communicating. And that is the beauty of Agilities and our Agility Advantage approach. You can grow and develop these things with the right experiences and exposures. And I know sometimes in your school, you're actually providing those kinds of opportunities, right, Maureen?
Exactly. We do a lot that ties back into the community, and a lot of our learning is experiential and student driven. And how rich is it that kids are operating, and youth and young adults operating from Agilities instead of, well, I have this degree, so I think I have to go into this field, or I'm scared and student loans, I think I'll just go get a master's. That they're blindly trying to figure out what their next steps are instead of like, hey, these are my Agilities. This is what gives me joy. I want to aim this way, and maybe I'll take these classes or get this practice, get these people doing my batting practice so that I can build up some experience. But it changes the whole way that it just lights, it illuminates the whole path forward for our exploring youth and young adults. So very impressive.
Well, thank you. Well, we 100% agree, and really, again, love your methodology and this whole focus on, a lot of educators talk about being student-centered. And I think when you're talking about individuals having choice and getting to know themselves well enough and having those kinds of experiences and opportunities, that is student-centered. I think that's the other thing that we really care about, and we found a lot of value in at the DeBruce Foundation, is we have a DeBruce Career Corps, Maureen. And what they do, they are young adults between the ages of like 14 and 26. So some of them are in high school, some of them are in college, some of them are in early career, and they actually are embedded into our product development and our decision-making processes.
Whoa.
Oh, it is remarkable. There have been many a time that I have brought them a problem and I said, no one in our offices agree what we should do with this. And so tonight, whatever you all say on the Zoom call with us is what's going to go. That's what we are going to implement tomorrow. And it's truly actually in surveying and doing some market research with other youth across the country, it's one of the things that they like best about the products that we produce and that we create is that there is youth voice embedded in the development and the production process. And so we feel incredibly blessed that our DeBruce Career Corps are so attuned to what people in their age group will respond to and be interested in doing. And they guide so much of the work that we do here by way of their input and feedback.
Oh my gosh. What a concept that we are inviting youth to have a voice in what we're creating with and for them. That is so powerful. Love it.
Thank you. Well, of course, you would be a champion of that. You have a little bit of practice at that, Maureen, and that's exactly, I love finding other people. And we at the DeBruce Foundation really love finding, other entities and groups who really value that youth voice. And it's not just having an advisory board. It's really about bringing them into the process and then being accountable to them that, hey, this is what you said the last time we were together and we were trying to solve for this problem. This is what it looks like now. This is what the solution looks like. Yes. And bringing that back to them. Really, that's who you should have on a podcast. The next time we're going to have like 2 or 3 of our DeBruce Career Corps folks with me, and they will tell the real story.
I love that. I actually have interviewed a few of my students at our micro school just because, yes, hello, of course we have to have your voice on here. So that's great. And I have one final question for you, Leigh Anne.
Yes, ma'am.
It is magic wand time. So with your all-powerful wand, what would you bestow upon our youth, the ones that are looking to enter the workforce and really importantly, looking to be upwardly mobile to make a life for themselves?
Well, I would bestow upon them really knowing their agilities and having the opportunities to get the right experiences and exposures to continue to grow and develop those. The best part about the magic wand is we know that they can take the Agile Work Profiler and learn their agilities very quickly. We need the communities where the youth live and others who have available the opportunities to provide them with the right kinds of exposure and experiences to provide those opportunities to students. And I would just challenge our entire network of individuals and organizations to invite those youth and embed them into those processes. They truly are the future of our country, and they truly bring lots and lots of value to any work that is being done.
Absolutely. Wow. Love the magic that you would bestow. Leigh Anne, you are doing such important work and helping our youth and young adults really own their power and their strengths. Thank you so much for all that you're doing and for being a guest on our show today.
And thank you, Maureen.
Isn't Leigh Anne a dynamo? The DeBruce Foundation has a fantastic executive director and COO who obviously is passionate about their mission. I appreciated how she kept coming back to the theme of helping our youth increase their self-awareness and affirm their strengths. Any of us that are influencing youth need to be very aware of the labels that we might be using with them. Some labels are ones that create learned helplessness and limit potential. We want to be mirrors for the strengths that we are seeing, and we want to help our students own those strengths. So this self-awareness is very important at a time when identity is being formed, so we all can learn from this. And then to be able to take this language and apply it to our career world is so powerful. interviews, resumes, internships. To know our strengths and to weave those in goes right along with looking at our experiences and weaving in how those also make us a good candidate for a job. It's our responsibility as adults working with youth to help them start to form these connections and to prompt them so that they can start to identify what's transferable and how they can transfer it. And not a bad skill for us to brush up on, as Leigh Anne reminded us. The workforce is changing rapidly, and we all need to be nimble and think about how our skills can be applied in new settings. I liked also that she went deeper and said, once we have that profile, we can do two things. We can start to develop the areas that we're not as strong in if it's an area we need to reach our goal. And we can also start to tease off when we're using one of these agilities, and then more deeply internalize and access these strengths. So there's so many layers that we can take these agilities and really embed them in our self-identity and how we present ourselves to future employers. I was also impressed with how they are taking the present COVID situation and creating virtual internships. They are determined to weave youth into organizations for the benefit of the youth and the organization. It was fantastic having Leigh Anne Taylor Knight from the DeBruce Foundation today. If you're finding yourself thinking, I need to do this in my school, let's talk about it. I consult with schools to help them find new, innovative solutions to reaching every student. Let's put together an action plan. Visit educationevolution.org/consult to book a call, and let's get started. Education Evolution listeners, you are the ones to ensure we create classrooms where each student is seen, heard, valued, and thriving. We need you. Let's go out and reach every student today. I'd be so grateful if you'd head over to your podcast app and give a great rating and review if you found this interview valuable. Thank you for listening. Signing off, I am Maureen O'Shaughnessy, your partner in boldly reimagining education.